specifically for our acquisition workforce. We activated 3 mission deltas, 8 system deltas, 2 service components, and we have already met our fiscal year 2026 recruiting goals. We anticipate continued robust growth across all these areas as Congress considers our $71 billion request that is included in the President's budget. As Secretary Mink recently noted, the President's budget enables the Space Force to address both readiness and future growth challenges, positioning us for success in the years ahead. Our priority is clear. We must protect the joint force from space-enabled attack. To do this, Space Force Guardians have participated in a variety of readiness-producing activities designed to ensure space superiority. Exercises like Flashpoint, Resolute Space 25, and Space Flag have been particularly helpful in generating readiness. As my colleagues here know and Joint Doctrine will attest, training is an essential component of readiness, and the Space Force is organizing to ensure we train our forces for combat. We're doing this by using the Space Force's Force Generation Model, or SPA4Gen, to deliberately carve out time for advanced training so that our Guardians are always ready. Rapidly evolving threats and our responsibilities to the Joint Force mean that the Space Force must aggressively increase its end strength and infrastructure. Achieving these goals will require increased focus on accessions, as well as building out training infrastructure and key enablers needed to develop Guardians of the future. We will need to double in size in the coming years to meet the identified operational needs, and the 27 budget currently before Congress will enable the Space Force to grow by 2,800 personnel. The Space Force continues to provide tremendous value to both the Joint Force and the nation. General Saltzman said recently, on nearly every mission around the globe, the Space Force delivered on our promises to the Joint Force, providing unmatched combat capability from space to ensure combatant commanders can project power and meet our national military objectives. With your continued support, that value will grow as we work to build the service to meet rapidly expanding requirements. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all for your articulate and thoughtful and timely testimony. We're going to use the 5-minute clock here to maximize everybody's time. So thank you to my members for staying within that 5 minutes. So I'll start. Amphibious ships, General Goering. The Marine Corps has advocated for a 3.0 amphibious readiness group worldwide presence. In your best professional military judgment, do you think the existing amphibious fleet is sufficient to meet this 3.0 goal? And if it is not, can you provide us with the number of ships that we should pursue to realize this goal?
Chairman, thank you for the question. Recently, the Secretary of the Navy has directed that we establish the Amphibious Force Readiness Board that I co-chair with Admiral Kilby. And one of the objectives of that board is to determine ultimately what would be the right number of amphibious ships. And it's really a 3 different phased approach. One is selective service life extension. The other is optimizing our maintenance and how we force generate. And the third is procuring new ships. I think the VCNO and I are in agreement that that number is north of 31. This board owes more detailed analysis to the Secretary of the Navy. Initial indicators that is probably somewhere in the vicinity of 40, but there's more work to be done there. So thank you for the question, Chairman.
Great, thank you. I look forward to hearing when the meeting is going to be, when the board meets, and some, due out results quickly. Admiral Kilby, I particularly support the Navy's goal to obtain an 80% surge-ready force posture. What steps is Navy taking to arrest the continued amphibious force structure decline and deliver on the CNO's goal to make the amphibious forces 80% surge ready?
Chairman, thanks for that question. Another effort that I work with the ACMAC is maintenance of these ships. So I'm going to give you some specific examples, but last year when I came to testify before you, we were at 42% combat surge ready. Today we're at 45% combat surge ready. A month ago we were at 54% combat surge ready. That number changes because ships enter maintenance and leave maintenance. So that number is a number that we predict, and when we achieve the number we thought we were going to achieve, great. If we don't achieve the number we thought we were going to achieve, it's because there's been a problem with maintenance. So some of the areas we're working on and have it executed already is a flag level review of any availability that has over 10% of growth in it. We have found once you exceed 10% growth in availability, the availability explodes. So that's thing one. There has to be a governor there, and that's provided by flag oversight. The second thing is a second port engineer for every amphibious big deck LHA and LHD that we have. That's to screen the work properly, make sure we order the material, make sure we have the job scope properly, so we're trying to match capacity to a very challenging ship in the case of our LHDs. Another area is to align specific and hard-to-find workforce and industry, and I'm talking about boilers on our LHDs, I'm talking about our cranes on our amphibious ships, and I'm talking about the diesels of our amphibious ships. So the Navy is pursuing single-source contracts where we can provide those workers to those availabilities when needed and not count on the private availability, whether it be any of our contractors to obtain those. So we're trying to lock down variants and make sure we achieve the end state in that avail. Another thing is improved material forecasting and ordering all that long lead material on time. And that means we have to definitize the availability well before it starts. So right now we're up to 5 months. We'd like to get a year in advance to lock down the availability for our big deck amphibs. We're at a 17% life cycle health assessment for our LHD class. And if we can execute this year, I'm predicting we'll be up in the 60s because we'll have done the maintenance we need to make those ships sustainable and keep them around, as you said, for the entire service life. And finally, we've introduced a $15 million contract incentive fee for 2 ships, the Somerset and the America. That means you have to hit that date to get $15 million. No negotiation. So the contractor is incentivized to stay on schedule, and we're incentivized to help make sure we do that. Those are some of the things we're working hard, and I meet with the ACMAC and discuss our progress across the board for amphibious ships, sir.
Okay, number one, my time is up, and I'm going to recognize Mr. Garamendi, but before I do that, just know we're going to do a second round of questions, so we don't get them all on the front end. So the bottom line is, Mr. Garamendi, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and for the witnesses, thank you so much for your opening statements. There's much that was said and much more that needs to be said. Admiral Kirby, you were answering on the amphibs, the questions that are there. The same issues apply to all the other vessels. The reporting from the GAO and other